Yeah.
So let's talk about, you dropped the belts that night and to your old pals, the Midnight Express. And I think fans were pretty excited about what that could have been. It was cut short, but now there's a new experience, the Titan experience, if you will. Tully, when you find out, hey, they're putting us with Bobby Heenan, that's got to be pretty exciting, right? That means you're going to be top guys.
That was the ingredient that was very, very promising. Bobby was a longtime friend because my dad would bring Nick Bockwinkel down, and Bobby was Nick Bockwinkel's manager for all those years with the AWA. And so it was, I'd got to know him a little bit, but it was a neat experience. The thing that would have been probably a greater experience for us is if he would have worked with us every night. He worked with us on TV and big shows, and he didn't travel with us during the week, which was fine. I mean, Arn and I can certainly function without a manager, but it would have been it might have had a lot more entertainment backstage for us if he'd have been there all the time rather than just at TV.
So you guys come in, you're put with Bobby Heenan very quickly. You're going to be in some pretty high profile matches. You guys are working with Demolition and the Hart Foundation, but it feels like a much different presentation than working, down south, as they like to say in New York. What was the difference in the tag team style that you used with, say, the Midnights or the Rock and Rolls or the Road Warriors versus now you're with the Rockers and the Hart Foundation and Demolition? Was it same thing, just a different style ring, or was it totally different, Tully?
No, it wasn't totally different, in my opinion. We just had to re-educate the guys that we worked with, as well as wrestling fans, that the stuff was Vince never really pushed tag teams,
right?
And we had the opportunity to change that, and so it was, we had great matches with the Rockers. I don't know that we had great matches with the Sheep Herders. We had good matches with the Sheep Herders, but I don't know that they might have been great. The Hart Foundation, because of the people that were in it and the amount that they were over, we had good matches with them. We had good matches with Demolition, and but the thing that everybody that worked for Crockett knew that they were going to be featured, and we would make them look better than they can make themselves look. And that was our reputation. It wasn't any question about it. And the people working for the New York office didn't have that. I don't know that they had ever had anybody worry about their stuff rather than everybody worried about their own stuff. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Arn, did I hit that nail on the head, or?
Yeah, the biggest thing right off the get-go is they said, we don't want you doing this. Day one, go to the ring, do not do this. And I think it was Jack Lanza. So we weren't that wasn't created through their company. They didn't want it. We were starting over. The blessing was they didn't give us some terrible costuming, some goofy catchphrases, goofy costuming. We were pretty much the Horsemen with a different name. And that was the main thing I was worried about. And, Vince even said one time, he said, you guys, you guys lend credibility to my company, which was the biggest compliment that he ever gave us. But the one thing we did have to learn is they had a definite pecking order there, and teams were positioned underneath, in the middle, top teams. And what was not appreciated was from the get-go, whether it was Roma and Powers or whoever it was, we went out and tried to have too good a match. And we were still learning. Hey, apparently I was still learning, because I thought going out having the best match possible, so did Tully, was the right thing to do, but not with those guys. There were certain teams that, if Demolition worked with them, they just ate them up. And we made a couple of mistakes early about selling too much for certain teams who had been beaten to death. Barry Darso grabbed me the first curtain. First time we came through the curtain, and he goes, "Come with me over here." He says, "Man, cut out all those bumps. We don't do that up here." Well, I figured it out the next day, because that ring was hard. It was bigger and it was harder. And buddy, if you're going to wrestle as many times as those guys did, and I would soon learn how much they traveled, how many skipping across the country and around the world for that matter on those planes, you didn't go out there and have a 4-star match some nights. Just wasn't supposed to be. And it's all stuff that we picked up pretty quickly. And obviously having Bobby, all he had to do was just look at the crowd, and they started the weasel stuff. Piece of cake.